Slimehouse TV, myself, Theo, hope everybody is good. In today's episode, I'm basically just going to unbox a lot of parcels that I've had delivered recently. I've been so busy working on the studio that I've not even had a chance to get through most of this stuff, and also because I've been so busy working on building the studio at the minute, I've missed a few weeks of uploads, so I'm trying to make up for lost time. Now, I do know some of the stuff that's in these parcels. I know that there's some VHS tapes and some other stuff that's ex-shop stock that's been literally sat in storage for like 20-30 years collecting dust, so that's going to be exciting to look through. Got some stuff in here that I've bought, some stuff that I've had gifted, also something that I've had sent by a company that's gifted it to me / wants me to review it, so I'm going to show that on the channel as well. And yeah, I've also got some other stuff that I don't even know what they are because they've been delivered and I forgot what I even ordered or what I bought or whether they're gifts or whatever. So you're going to see it at the same time that I see it. So yeah, should be fun. Should be a nice chilled episode today. Let's get to it. So the first one that I want to look at is something that actually came this morning, and I think I know what it is, but then the label on it says some kind of podcast, so I don't know if it's someone that said they'd send me something ages ago and then only just got around to doing it. Well, have a look now. Yeah, it says Pint of View Podcast. So I don't know if this is from a podcast, somebody that watches my channel and said ages ago, because sometimes people will hit me up on Instagram and they're like, oh, we want to send you something, but they don't actually send it for a long time. So it might be one of those. If not, I know exactly what it is because it was a couple of days ago that I made a little purchase. And there's another one there, Pint of View Podcast, which makes me think that either this guy is randomly just in a podcast and wanted to bombard it with his stickers, or it's something that somebody said they'd send me ages ago and then I forgot about it. What is it? What is it? Oh, it is what I thought it were. So this is, and he's really gone to town in individually wrapping them all up because he didn't need to. A bunch of muscle figures. So at the minute, I'm trying to get a full set of muscle. I know that's like a ridiculous thing to say, but I have got quite a lot already, and you can pick these up for like £1 each normally. These were all £1 each. I think he did me a deal on all of them if I remember. So these are some of the like second release ones where they're in different colours, which I actually prefer. I prefer when they're in different colours. The original muscle figures are all in these colours. I'll show you. You'll know if you're watching this episode, but if you don't, original muscle figures are all in these colours, like this peachy skin tone. This peachy Caucasian skin tone, should I say, because not everybody in the world has the same skin tone as a muscle figure. I know I certainly don't. I'm way whiter. But yeah, they're the original ones when they're in this colour, and then there's like other released ones where they did them in these more like primary colours and bold colours and things, and I actually prefer them ones, but obviously I don't really mind what colour they are. It's just nice to have a full set. I've also not even gone through my box to know which ones I need and which ones I don't. I've kind of just been buying them in bulk when I see them at a nice price. So some of these I might have doubles. If I've got doubles, I always send them to my boy Bill making stuff. Shouts to Bill, he gets all my doubles. And if I've got any triples, then yeah, I can use them for trades as well. Rather than go through them all, I will show like a close-up shot of all of them in one shot so you can see, get some nice close-ups of them. But yeah, really nice. They arrived really quick as well. So this guy must be part of a podcast, the Pint of View Podcast, like that, the Pint of View Podcast. So go check that out. I don't know what that is. And if not, then yeah, whoever the Pint of View Podcast are, just got a free plug on Slimehouse TV for whatever that's worth. So that's all them. I think there's between like, I don't know, 12, 14 figures or something. But that's nice. And hopefully, a couple of swaps for my boy Bill as well. Okay, next, let's have a look at some posters. So basically, I got all these from my friend Phil, who lives down in Cornwall. He's got a friend that back in the day used to sell VHS and collect VHS, and he's now selling off all of his stock. And my mate Phil went through most of it. He got a lot of it for himself, but then again, he also passed me any doubles or ones that he wasn't bothered about or anything like that. And he just showed me pictures of them, and I just circled the ones that I thought I wanted. There were so many to go through. I'd have needed hundreds and hundreds of pounds free to be able to buy all of them, but I just bought the ones that I liked the look of or ones that I thought were interesting. I didn't know the title, but I thought, you know what, I don't see that around. That'd be one nice to add to the collection. And then he also had a bunch of posters as well, so I bought a bunch of posters off this guy. So some of these posters are like big original UK quads and that kind of thing. There's some smaller ones. There's some other more like cheaper stuff in there. But I just kind of did a bulk deal on all the ones that he didn't want, and I bought them all for myself. So I forgot what some of these are, so we can check them out now. So check that one. That's an old VHS shop poster for Piranha 2. And you don't know that I love that artwork. I did a whole video filming at my mate's place, Spires and Squires, earlier this year, or was it last year now? I completely forget. But I've gone to a couple of poster warehouses for big poster collectors in my time doing YouTube, and they're some of my favourite videos, some of my favourite experiences. So these would be right up his street, but check that. Also, some of these are going to be too big to show on camera, so I'll get them as separate shots laid out on the floor. We've got a big one here. Now, this one is a keeper. This is one of my favourite Italian post-apocalyptic movies. If you've got a favourite post-apocalyptic Italian movie, there's a lot of them. This is always one of my go-tos. And this is... I'm not going to be able to show it on camera because it's way too big. Endgame. Starring Al Cleaver and Luigi Montefiore, a.k.a. George Eastman. Two of my favourite Italian post-apocalyptic actors. In fact, George Eastman was in lots of Italian movies. Everything from like Bronx Warriors to the Anthropophagus Cannibal to Porno Holocaust and all these mad movies that came out in Italy. But check that poster, that's absolutely awesome. Like I said, I'll get close-ups. I'll get close-ups of all these so that you can have a proper good look at them. Now this one, I know what it is, and this is an absolute beast of a poster. If you're a fan of either Sam Raimi movies or Spaced, you'll get the reference, because there's one of these quite prominently in the living room of the cast of Spaced, Simon Pegg and Jessica Stevenson classic. Check that beauty! Look at that. I can't get it on camera. So that's an original poster, and that was actually painted by a friend of mine, Graham Humphreys, that I know from HorrorCon, but that's an absolute classic. You know the shot in Spaced when Simon Pegg jumps back and he lands next to her screaming? But that's one of my favourite movie posters of all time. It's so colourful, it's so awesome, and that's definitely going to get framed in the new studio. Absolute classic. Again, I will get close-ups of all these so that you can see them properly, because there's no way that I can show this on camera and do it justice, like sat here at my desk. There's another banger here. So this one is another classic 80s vampire stripper movie starring Grace Jones, and it's Vamp. So that is, again, I think a British quad. British quads are a bit of a different size to American quads. Sometimes they're going frames that are really hard to get. You have to get like a custom-made frame or buy a really expensive one. You can't just go to like the Range or something and buy a poster for some of these because they're so big. But when you've got something that looks that dope, you don't mind forking out for a nice frame for it. So this looks a lot more like an airbrushed piece of art compared to the painted stuff that Graham Humphreys did. I did always prefer the painted stuff to the airbrushed stuff, but there's no denying that's not an absolute banger. So yeah, dope posters galore in today's episode. So we've got here, I think these are some more cheaper posters, just ones that were a little bit cheaper priced, stuff that would have gone up in the video shop, not like the big UK cinema quads and that kind of thing, but some more bangers. We've got an original Army of Darkness. This is when the VHS come out in England, and I believe that is the English exclusive, the British exclusive VHS cover. Get that on camera, because that's the one that my VHS cover had on it as a kid. I didn't have the big box or anything like that, I just had like the sell-through, and I believe that's the cover from that. But yeah, if you're a fan of Evil Dead, like I said, Sam Raimi movies, you're into Bruce Campbell, this is another beast of a poster to have on your wall. There's another one in here. I know what this is as well. He kind of just threw this in just because I liked it. Back in the day, the original Marvel comic of Guardians of the Galaxy, that we know as a very different looking team today. I also think that these aren't fully coming up in camera focus because of the focal on my camera, the bokeh, but I'll get close-ups of them anyway. But back in the day, the Guardians of the Galaxy looked like a very different team, and I just like that poster because I love that old like Rob Liefeld art and stuff, the McFarlane stuff that they did for Marvel and things. But look at that there, that's Michael Rooker's character Yondu in the original comic. That's what he looked like. He don't look like that now, does he? But yeah, I love that. So there's another poster, I think one more poster. If you watch my HorrorCon video from this year, my HorrorCon episode on Slimehouse, you might recognise this guy's face. We'll tear your soul apart. Check that, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, another absolute banger. And this looks like another video shop poster, although maybe a little bit bigger. Also looks like it's got a foreign text on there. Preghe Noiri del Inferno. So yeah, definitely a foreign title there. I don't remember that on the British VHS cover. Doug Bradley, absolute G, another absolute banger. I keep saying that a lot, absolute banger, but there is some real bangers in today's episode, I can't lie. Some of the stuff that I've got in these boxes is like cold. So that's it for the posters. I'm going to get to a box of VHS tapes now. So this guy Paul hit me up months and months and months ago and said that he had some VHS to send me. I can't even really remember what was in here other than there was some Guyver VHS tapes. I think he'd watched my Guyver video that I did on the Figma Guyver figures on Slimehouse and said that he had some tapes to send me and there was some Guyver in there. And I always regret getting rid of the Guyver VHS tapes that I had as a kid because they always look nice on the shelf. The original Guyver anime. So I believe that there's some of these in here, and then I don't remember. And I think these are sell-through tapes, they're not big box. The stuff that I've got from Ian and Phil are all big box VHS tapes, like original X-Rental ones. These are the ones that you would have bought from a shop. Mostly, I think, anyway, I've just seen a couple of big boxes there. So what we got? Oh, we got Maniac Cop and Swamp Thing, a couple of straight bangers straight away. I'm going to stop saying bangers, but yeah, what you're going to do when you're pulling out stuff like this. So we've got the original Swamp Thing there by Wes Craven. And then we've got Maniac Cop. You know I love me some Matt Cordell, and that's the original Maniac Cop. By Medusa Release as well. a classic VHS releasing company back in the day, did some awesome releases and also some really cool movie posters as well. So yeah, thank you so much to him for them, because the first two I've pulled out are like two that I don't have, and they're going to look so good in my VHS collection. Speaking of my VHS collection as well, I've got lots in storage that I'm going to be displaying, some in the studio. I've got a space in my living room that I'm going to get rid of all my DVDs. Not throw them out, but I'm going to put them in boxes and just keep like the real nice Arrow Blu-ray box sets and stuff, and the rest of those shelves I'm going to put on my VHS set there, because who really needs DVDs anymore? I want to keep them for the special features and that kind of thing, but I don't need to have like 1,000 DVDs on a shelf anymore. It's just, we don't need that. So these are the Guyvers that I was on about. How many is there? Oh, there's quite a lot. There's more than I actually thought. I thought that there was only like 4. So, if you know me, you know that one of my favourite anime of all time, and mangas, the comics, is Guyver. He's one of my favourite Japanese characters of all time. He's an absolute beast. I've made some minifigures of him. I've even got one here that I can show you. Oh, fudge. Nearly knocked over my can of Monster. I got some minifigures here that I made. Very reminiscent of the muscle figures that I just had delivered, actually. That I'm going to be maybe producing in my studio at some point. I just made these for myself, but yeah, I'm big into Guyver. So really nice to get some of the VHS tapes back. So we've got number 11, my lucky number. We've got Richard Geyer on the front of there. And they just all come with these dope covers that were from the old manga comics, I believe. We've got Enzyme there. That's like, again, one of my favourite kaiju of all time is Enzyme. I've also made a minifigure of him. He's there. That's my Enzyme minifigure. I swear I've got close-up shots of all them. I'll overlay them on the video as well so you can see them. But in order, we've got number 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 2. So, yeah. Basically, I think half of them there. I think half of the original series, pretty much. So, that's awesome. If anyone's got the other half, then, yeah, please holler me, because I'd love to complete that set. So, what else we got? We've got Maniac Cop 3 and Maniac Cop 2. So, that's the full Maniac Cop trilogy on big box VHS tape. Man, I can't thank you enough for this. This is so cool. We've got Bad Taste, which I do actually have on a big box VHS, so holler me if you need a copy of Bad Taste and we'll work out a trade or something. I think I've got it on big box. Or have I? I might have only got it on little box. Hold off that holler until I've checked my VHS collection. But if you don't know Bad Taste, you know that it's one of the best like independent movies ever made. Maybe not the script of it, but the ambition behind it. Being somebody that made a movie as well, myself, Unit 11, a big ambitious independent movie. This movie, Bad Taste, is like one of the most innovative independent movies ever created. You can watch the making of it. Good Taste Made Bad Taste. It's probably on YouTube, I believe it is. And the stuff that Peter Jackson made for this, like creating the guns and the camera rigs and everything, making the masks for the aliens and then baking them in his mum's oven. It's just so inspiring. And obviously this is a guy that went off to create the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so this is his first ever movie. It's definitely recommended. Dan Plastic will also tell you exactly the same. We've also got Psycho Cop Returns. I've never seen Psycho Cop or Psycho Cop Returns. I do class myself as like a cult movie horror film buff and that kind of thing, but there's still hundreds and hundreds that I've never seen. I think it's impossible to see every single movie ever, unless you're Quentin Tarantino, right? And Ghost Chase, which I do already have definitely on a big box VHS, so that's also one that I can put in my trade pile. So yeah, they were actually even better than I remember, because I only remember the Guyver tapes. So, buzzing with that. I've got some more VHS tapes here. Now, this is a giant bag. It would take me like a whole episode to go through every single one of these individually, so I'm just going to stack them up, and we can just have like a quick overlook of all of them. These are the ones that I got off Ian and Phil, and these are all big box, all like super cult, weird stuff, real elite titles, lots of real high-end pieces, actually. I knew when I was getting these that I was getting some real gold, so yeah, there's so many to go through. I will get like a shot of all of these laid out or something, but if you're seeing the ones that I'm stacking up here, you'll just know that there's some absolute bangers here. Bangers, bangers, bangers. I can't help it. There is just bangers after banger. So Blast Fighter is another dope Italian movie. I absolutely love this film. Another one that I believe has been released by 88 Films. But if you can check out Blast Fighter, if you're into like Rambo-style action movies, but then with a bit of sci-fi in it as well, Blast Fighter is another cold title. Got lots of these VTC releases. Back in the day, VTC released a lot of like classic movies that you would get from your VHS shop. And they also come in these clamshells. Whenever you get something in a clamshell, it tends to be worth a bit more money than these ex-rental VHS, even though these are also worth money as well now. Some wicked titles here, man. The Diamond Mercenaries, look at Telly Savalas there looking awesome. You got Christopher Lee. Like, these used to star some like real high-end actors. This one I couldn't turn down, check that. I've never watched it, but it's called Champion, starring Bronson Lee. You got Bruce Lee, you got Charles Bronson. They have a fusion dance and they turn into Bronson Lee. Never seen this one, but I just couldn't turn it down. So like I said, when I was choosing these VHS tapes, I didn't actually go in person. It was down in Cornwall. I couldn't get down there. But my friend was working down there, so he got them and he brought them over. So shouts to Luke for that. But my friend Phil just showed me photos of what was available, and I just circled like all the ones that I thought looked interesting. Street Fighter's Revenge, starring Sonny Shiba, another classic right there. Absolute beast. This Scarab, never seen this one, but a cold VHS cover there. And these VTC all come in these gold spines like that, so they look real nice on the shelf when you've got like 10, 20 of them all together. These just go on and on. There's so many in here. Demented, look at that original Demented cover. Some of these are subject to a bit of mould. You can get mould on these old VHS tapes when they've been stored in like a muggy basement or something like that. They do get mould on them. That obviously does affect the price point of what they're worth, but people still will buy them with mould on because you can clean it off. It's just quite a lengthy process. Nightmare in Blood, Blood Evil, all the Blood titles. The Wailing, check that cover, The Wailing. Ninja Wars, another VTC classic there. I believe that's a Godfrey Ho movie. Usually if they say Ninja in the title and they're on these old releases, they're usually by Godfrey Ho. And this one is all foreign, so I can't read anything on there. I'll have to get Google Translate on that one. Might not be a Godfrey Ho banger, but 9 times out of 10, if a movie looks like it would be directed by Godfrey Ho and it's got Ninja in the title, then chances are it's directed by Godfrey Ho. Godfrey Ho was a dude that made like hundreds of movies all with Ninja in the title, always featured ninjas in them in like colourful mad outfits, stuff that you would never wear in any kind of real life ninja scenario, if they even exist. And he used to reuse a lot of the footage in their movies, so you'd watch like 10 movies that were all pretty much the same because he just reused a lot of the same fight scenes and sound effects as well. Warriors 3, another VTC that I've never seen but I will enjoy getting to. Deranged, look at that cover on Deranged. Super crap, like, no offense to the guy that made that, but I've done crap artwork before when I've been on a really short deadline, and I know that this guy probably had like 7 hours to get that finished. Some of these as well, really interesting, didn't even know what they were, just couldn't turn them down when I saw them on the shelf, and just thought I've never seen that before, I need to pick it up. Mas Ala del Exorcismo, the Mexican Exorcist. Beast. Werewolf Shadow, never seen this one either. But check that dope wraparound cover. He also checked them all as well, Phil, so shouts to him for that as well. He went the extra mile to go through every single one and make sure that the tape was in there. And then he'd also hit me up and say, this one's a bootleg, do you still want it? If not, I will pick something else off the shelf that I think you're going to like. So, yeah, whenever there was a bootleg, I'd say, yeah, don't give me the bootleg, but feel free to pick me something else off the shelf that you think that I'm going to enjoy. Because he just knows what I like. Cutting Class. So Cutting Class is the alternate title of Slaughter High, a movie starring Carolyn Monroe. I've dressed up as the Killer Marty from that before for Halloween. I got a custom mask made. I made a bit of it. My friend Owen also made a hat for it and things. And yeah, I dressed up as that guy for Halloween before. It was an awesome time at our old Slimehouse cinema. Before Slimehouse was even a YouTube channel, it was an underground cinema where I used to show movies like this back to back every single month with my friends. And guess what? Everything I've told you was wrong. So I always thought that Cutting Class was the British title of Slaughter High, but just reading the blurb on the back of this, it's a completely different movie. So shows what I know. Don't listen to me. I swear Cutting Class was the alternate title for Slaughter High. Well, you live and learn. Just to interject there, I did actually find out after that Cutting Class is an old slasher movie starring Brad Pitt. However, the artwork that they used for the cover was artwork that they also used for Slaughter High on a different release, which is where the confusion came from. Okay, moving swiftly on. The Experiment, never seen that one. That's an interesting looking one. Starring Uko Kier. That might be one of those that I said, pick something off the shelf that you think I'll like and swap it for one of the bootlegs. This certainly was one that I picked off the shelf myself. Check that. Witchmaker. Don't know what's going on there, but I like it. Someone's getting beheaded by some like Japanese sorcerer with a blade. And yeah, looking at the back of it, it looks absolutely terrible. Like, it looks like it was filmed on a bottle of vinegar. And I know because I've filmed movies on bottles of vinegar. Brain Damage by Frank Henenlotter, the same director who made Basket Case and the other Basket Case movies. A real awesome guy that I actually got to hang out with back in the day, like years and years ago. I got to hang out with him at Celluloid Screams Festival. Real cool dude. Scanner Cop, hold tight Wayne, he knows about Scanner Cop. He put me onto that years ago. Okay, the last lot. God, there's so many in here. Lucifer, not seen that one. The Invisible Dead, I've not seen that one, but I just like the cover of it and it looked like it would be an interesting title to add to the collection. The Devil's Gift is one that I always wanted because I like the cover on it, but never got to add it to my collection until now. Horror Farm, another one of those that you just see around that I never got a chance to add it to my own collection. So that day was today when I got to add it. I really didn't intend this on being like a filmography lesson or anything like that, showing my knowledge of old movies or their lack of, if we're talking about Cutting Class. Barren Blood, Not seen that one, but just one that I thought looked cool. Monkey Shine's an absolute classic by George Romero. One of them that doesn't get talked about, but it's a really interesting movie. Kingdom of the Spiders. Check that cover. Another awesome cover there. I feel like I'm piling these around me. I'm running out of space. Sorority House Massacre. Sounds like it should star the homegirl Linnea Quigley. I don't believe it does. That's more sorority babes in the slime bowler armour. Curtains, one that I've not seen for years and years and years. Barely remember anything about it. Satan's Dog. They had this in the VHS shop that we went to in Alfreton, and I always really liked the cover of it, so awesome to own that one as well. I just love these old painted artwork covers. I love them. It's like my favourite artwork of all time. A real lost art now. Everything's Photoshop these days. And the last one is Night Vision. Another really, really cool VHS cover there. So yeah, that's all the VHS tapes that I had delivered. Really going to look cool when they're all on the shelves and the racking and displayed and just shown in the way that they're supposed to be displayed. Like DVDs don't look like this on the shelf, so I'm going to have to replace those DVDs and put all VHS there. Again, I will show like all these laid out on the floor and stuff, get some nice photos of them and that kind of thing, some nice footage so you can see them in a bit more depth. I've also just noticed as well that there was a bit of moisturiser on my nose for the whole start of this video, and I'm not going to go back and re-record it for the sake of a bit of moisturiser, so yeah, we're going to keep going. Moisturise, people. It'll keep you looking fresh and young. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to get to is a parcel that was sent to me by Nsabers. So they're a company that got in touch with me and said, we have a product, we would love you to have a look at it, we will send you one, and if you could unbox it on your channel and give us a review and your thoughts, we would be very happy. So that's what we're going to do next. So there they are, Nsabers. You can probably guess what's inside here with them being called Sabres and it being a long parcel like this. But I don't want to ruin the suspense. I mean, that there kind of says exactly what it is. But look at that packaging. I have reviewed lightsabers on this channel before, and this is really, really nice packaging. I've not had one that came in a box like this. The ones that I looked at before came in boxes that you just threw away. This one comes in like a real nice like gift box. Check that, Nsabers. Hold tight, Nsabers. This is beautiful. So there we have it. Check it out. Lots of stuff in there. So they sent me a specific one that they wanted me to have a look at. They didn't give me a list to choose from or anything like that. They said, this is the one that we've got. We would really like you to have a look at this one specifically. Looks like it comes with some white gloves, which I'll be putting on in a minute. So yeah, they want you to handle this one with care, which makes me feel like it's quality. There's actually like an old, like late 70s hip-hop culture in New York, b-boying and body popping and that kind of thing, where people used to wear like white mime gloves when they were doing their body popping, listening to them old school hip-hop tracks. So we'll have a look at the handle first of all, because obviously the handle is the best part of any lightsaber. And this one that they sent me is a very specific design because it's inspired by Ahsoka Tano. So it's not Ahsoka Tano's actual lightsaber. Obviously, she has the two silver-handled lightsabers, one a bit shorter than the other. But this is actually inspired by her design. So we've got these markings here, these etchings that are inspired by the markings that Ahsoka has on her face. I never know if they're like tattoos or tribal markings or something like that. They don't look organic when you see people like her and Darth Maul. They've got these patterns on their face that look very geometric, like they've been put there specifically on purpose. They're not something that like a lizard would have or anything like that. But then again, these are space aliens, so I don't know why I'm questioning the reality of markings on an alien's face when there's people swinging light swords around. So yeah, they're based on the markings that she has on her face. We've got like this brass here, this orangey kind of gold colour. That's obviously based on her skin tone. And then we've got these stripes here that look a lot like the tentacles that she has, that she uses for hearing. I don't know the exact name of them, but all those like Twi'leks and stuff have those tentacles down the side of their head in Star Wars. So they're also based on that, I believe. So yeah, really love the Ahsoka Tano show as well on Disney+. Like one of my favourite shows that they've done so far. Really, really aesthetically pleasing. So that's the handle. Let's take a look at the beam. The lightsaber beam. So this looks really hard wearing as well, and also very good quality. This is like some kind of aluminium chrome steel. Also comes with a display stand. So like I said, I've had lightsabers on this channel before and I've reviewed them. I've never had one that came with white gloves, and I've certainly not had one that came with a display stand, which is really nice. As collectors and people that like to display our stuff, we always appreciate a good display stand. We've got the toolkit here, so we'll have a butcher's at that. So this is an interesting way of putting this thing together. It's not like lightsabers that I've seen before. What does this do? Maybe I should look at instructions. I never usually like looking at instructions, but I think in this particular case, I'm going to check out the instructions because it seems like it's a very specific way of putting it together. I'm dyslexic, so I don't like reading stuff. Everything starts to jumble up on the page and not look like words anymore. It looks like a barcode or something. Oh no, it does put together exactly like lightsabers that I've had before. So you put this in here, and then you use little screws, and you Allen key them in to keep it tight and in place. Oh, so it's already got some batteries in as well. So we can power it on straight away. There we go. It's like a torch. I feel like I'm at some like kind of crime scene investigation with my white gloves like the bone collector. So that's that. I'm just trying to work out what this little thing does. I need to read the instructions. Oh, I know what this is for. So this is the blade plug. So when you want to display this thing as just a handle, you screw that in like that. So that's what that's for. It's just to make it look nice and neat when it's displayed on its own without the blade attached. Okay, makes sense now. And with that in, it kind of looks like some bad boy Doctor Who sonic screwdriver. Check that. Let me take these gloves off as well because they're making things difficult. It's not easy to peel off plastic when you've got Mickey Mouse gloves on. So that goes in there, and then you had these tiny little plugs inside and Allen key them tight to hold it in place. I'd also advise fully charging this thing before you use it properly. Like anything you get, it's always best to charge it fully first. I know sometimes we get impatient, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to turn it on now, which I already have. But yeah, if you're going to buy one of these or anything electrical, always make sure that you give it a full charge before you start actually using it. Because yeah, apparently it makes the battery last longer, and we all want our batteries to last as long as possible, right? There we go. Whoa! Check that! So I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it does like rainbow colours. That's the first lightsaber I've ever had that does rainbow colours. That is absolutely awesome. I'm all about that. Imagine that in the new Star Wars. One Jedi rocks up, turns his lightsaber on, and it's just every single colour. Apparently, like, your lightsaber is reflective of your personality. That would be some crazy dude like... like McAvoy in Split, like bare different personalities. You don't know what he's going to do. So I'm going to read the instructions of this thing properly to figure out all the different colour methods and that kind of thing, all the different programming that you can do to it, and I'll take it outside and give it a little swing round and stuff. But yeah, just want to say a massive thank you to Nsabers because this is absolutely awesome. So just taking a little break away from the unboxing stuff for a second, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this Nsabers lightsaber that they've sent me, because I've played with a few lightsabers in the past, I've reviewed them on this channel, and this really has some features that make it very unique. The first thing that stood out to me is the amount of different animations or ignitions this thing has to actually power it up. You can have it flickering, you can have it stacking on top of each other. I've actually never seen a lightsaber that has animation built inside the actual blade before. Now, I've not had much time to really play around with this thing, but just in the short space of time that I have had, I've worked out so many different features. It's got a ton of sound effects. I even had it speaking quotes from the movies to me at one point. And of course, it's got a full RGB function, so it can go lots of different colours, including my favourite, which, as you know now, is the rainbow animation. As I said when I were unboxing it, it's very high quality, this thing. It's made from metal, some kind of steel. Feels really good and weighted in your hand, feels very durable. It doesn't feel like it's going to get broken or fly out your hand when you're spinning it around, which is the last thing you want when you're doing tricks with it like this. In terms of how bright it is as well, this thing's super bright. Exactly what you want from a good high quality lightsaber. And with it being so bright, if you wanted to film any kind of footage with this, or a fan film or a fight scene, you wouldn't have to worry about putting too much visual effects over the top of it because it already looks really nice on camera, which for someone like me who is a filmmaker that often does his own special effects is something that I really appreciate. Just talking a little bit again about how it came packaged, it was in the real nice gift box with the white gloves and the toolkit and everything you need to put it together. It also came with this really cool stand, which again as a collector is something that I've always got a lot of time for. Now, like I said, this lightsaber does so much. I've not had enough time to play with it properly to work out all of its features, but if you did want to find out a little bit more about this lightsaber in particular and all of the other cool ones that Nsabers do provide, then I'll put the link to their website down in the description below. You'll be able to find out everything what it does, all its different features and functions, and there's also an affiliate link down below, my personal affiliate link. So if you feel like you'd like to buy one of these for yourself, if you go through that link and also add in my discount code at checkout, which I'll also put in the description below, you'll get a little discount, I'll get a little kickback, and we'll both be buzzing with our Nsaber lightsabers. If you do decide to treat yourself to one of these, I would highly recommend taking it out and taking some photos and some video footage on bonfire night, or the 4th of July, or New Year's. You can pretend that you're part of some kind of Star Wars ceremonial celebration, or maybe even the Purge of Mandalore, whatever takes your fancy. So I'm going to get to the last parcel now, which is an absolute beast of an item. I had quite a queue behind me of people wanting to buy it after me. If I turned it down, I was the first one to claim it. So after a bit of umming and ahhing, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get it. It's the first one that I'd ever seen, and it's the kind of thing that if I do ever see again, it's only going to be going up and up in price. And when you've got a queue of people behind you that's like, I will 100% have it if he doesn't want it, then you kind of just have to strike while the iron's hot, right? So I decided to go for it, and I'm really, really happy that I did. So let's open it up and see what's inside. This is, again, something that's been here for quite a few days, and I've just not had a chance to get to it. Because I also wanted to show it on camera and save it for a video. When you're a content creator, you don't even want to make a sandwich without filming it in case you could get a bit of content out of it. So you have to like kind of pick and choose what you want to open in your own time and what you want to open on camera and showcase on the channel. But this is something that without doubt I had to get this moment on camera. Loads more packing peanuts. Anything that I sell on eBay from now on is going to be packaged nice. Where am I tipping all these? I have to tip them in here, aren't I? So check that. The colours are popping in the box already. And if you've seen the thumbnail, you're going to know what this is. So we have here, and it's way bigger than I thought it would be, the Toxic Crusaders attack copter, which is, without doubt, in my opinion at least, the rarest Toxic Crusaders vehicle. So I've got some of the accessories here that I'll show in a minute, but yeah, just taking this in for what it is right now. This is an absolute beast. It needs a bit of a clean, but I knew that it needs a bit of a clean down. Wow. This is definitely something special. Like I said, never seen one before, in person at least. Obviously, I've seen them on photos and things, but never seen one in person, never seen one for sale at a toy fair. And do you know when you buy something and you're just so happy that you did? Like I sat umming and ahhing for a little bit to decide whether I actually wanted it or not, or well, I always wanted it, or whether I should pull the trigger on it. Like, I'm so happy that I did. The thing with Toxic Crusaders is they come with so many pieces. So not only are the figures themselves and the vehicles themselves like sought after and going up and up in price, they come with so many different accessories, like stupid amounts of accessories. As a kid it was awesome, but they got so easily lost, and now when you're a collector trying to pick all these things up complete, it's just so hard to try and get them with all the bits. So yeah, I was also very grateful that this comes with all of its accessories bar one, and I'll talk about what I'm going to do about that at the end of this little video. Look like we've got the propeller blade here, which is dope. It looks like a big toxic symbol. Look at that, man. They didn't have to, but they did. That's genius. I love that. Whee! Like a missile bomb that goes on the side. So the only thing that it's missing, at least to my knowledge, is the other one of these bombs. So these are like a missile that clips on the side. But even they come out. Like, they would have got pulled out and chewed and thrown away straight away. So these are what this attaches to. Put that on that side. So all it's missing is one of those bombs. And other than that, it's all complete. The mechanism and the function and things don't work anymore, which I wouldn't expect them to. Look at all these little wires, man. All these tiny little wires that would just get broken and pulled off and lost. Just getting this thing complete like this is just unheard of. So like I said, the only thing that this is missing is another one of these bombs. And I am obviously building a toy factory at the minute. I'm going to be doing lots of toy production and casting and that sort of thing. So I can obviously keep a lookout for one, which I will do. I'll keep looking out on eBay and stuff. The chances of me finding one on eBay is going to be very slim because, like I said, these are very, very rare. I might come across someone at some point that has a spare left-sided one of these. Mine is the right side. But if not, I am going to, in the meantime at least, either cast one myself and make a reproduction one that I can put on the other side. It still displays nice. It still displays nice, that side, without it. But it would just be cool to have one. But then also, my friend Ollie is restoring one of these at the minute. Now, if you've watched my episode where I went to film the studio of I Made This, who is one of my favourite YouTubers and just such an awesome, talented guy, he is a dude that restores Toxic Crusaders vehicles. He did a crazy restoration on the Smog Cycle and then also on the Hideous Hovercraft. You'll see him in that video if you go back and watch it. I'll link it in the comments below. So he will be restoring his and he will be making reproduction ones of these. He says that he will do me one for the other side or a pair or whatever to make this look nice and display worthy, even though it already does look nice and display worthy, but that will be something, another nice addition that I can also add to it. And like I said, I got this for a real nice price because the price I paid for this, 99.9% complete, was the same price that he paid for one pretty much that has nothing with it. So it just goes to show that yeah, sometimes you see things and you just have to pull the trigger and you just have to get them there and then. So I think that's it for today. That was quite a lot to get through, right? I'm really happy that I managed to get through all of these parcels. I know sometimes when I do these kind of episodes, I like to be able to like film everything and narrate them and put little funny clips in and little segments and all that kind of thing. But at the minute, I'm just trying to make up for lost time. Like I said, I've got a lot of weeks where I wasn't uploading on the channel, and I want to make up for that by doing some like quicker videos just to get my momentum back with the channel and stuff like that. But yeah, some really awesome pieces, some toys, some VHS tapes, some posters. I would love to know though from you lot what you think of the things that I've unboxed in today's episode. Have you had any new stuff in that you want to tell me about? Have you got any new parcels delivered where you've got something that's like a piece that maybe you kind of shouldn't have bought, but you just had to buy it because when are you going to see another one? Let me know down in the comments below. If you want to hit me up but you don't want to do it publicly, the best place to do that is over on Instagram at Theo_Kane_Slimehouse. And if you want to help support Slimehouse, want to support future projects where we go out on road trips and film things and that kind of stuff, you can head over to patreon.com/SlimeHouseTV, become a Slime Alliance member or a Slime Renegade, and all that money goes directly back into Slimehouse, helping me make this channel bigger and better than ever. So yeah, with all that said and done, thank you so much for joining me today. As I always say, there's so many other cool YouTube channels that you can be watching, so the fact that you're here hanging out with me, watching me unbox some stuff really does mean a lot. So I'm Theo Kane, this is Slimehouse TV, and until the next episode, I'm gone.